Eso es mi primera vez en Perú. Estoy aquí para una visita de un grupo de vida de los Estados Unidos, USGS. Y estoy aquí para visitar con GP y en GM también en Arequipa por la causa de los volcanes. Lo siento, pero el mío español no es tan bueno, no es tan bien. Y por eso hablo la mayoría en inglés, pero trato de hablar un poquito también en español para todos que puedan entender que trato de discutir. ¿Está bien? Ok. Se puede ver ok, es una luz muy claro. Charlamos hoy de Yellowstone Caldera, historia geológica, actividad a este momento, fluids, variado, y geotérmica. Yellowstone es un gran parque nacional en los Estados Unidos, es en el estado de Wyoming, es en el centro, un poco norte, a 45 grados de latitud. Y es el primer parque nacional en el mundo, 1872. Okay. There are many people with whom I work, con quien trabajo, y esta presentación es de todos de ellos. I work with the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory. It's right here. There are 8 groups with the observatorio. The USGS is el mío, but also there's a University of Utah, the red sismológico. There are people at the University of Wyoming, y el Parque Nacional, y muchos otros grupos regionales. El programa de USGS es nacional y tenemos muchos observatorios: Alaska, Washington State, aquí Hawaii, aquí California y Yellowstone aquí. Hoy charlamos de la historia volcánica, actividad y las aguas termales y el gas. Es importante que se tienen preguntas. No, please ask. I can stop, I can talk. I will go muy despacio y this is 40 minutos. Pueden preguntarme todo. Okay. This is a diagrama de la caldera volcánica de Yellowstone. En el manto hay fundida de basalto que está moving up, y it melts the crust y se crea this cuerpo magmático riolítica que es muy alto en crust. Crust es corteza, en la corteza. Sí. Above, we have lots of earthquakes. We have the geysers, las aguas termales. Y una cosa muy importante a Yellowstone es que este sistema hidrotermal, todos los gases y vapores que con fuente de magma, they stop at the hydrothermal system and they dissolve in the water and they react with the rock. And so at the surface, a la superficie, es difícil saber qué cosas la magma está pasando, está haciendo. Because we have much water here that changes how this volcano works, cambia cómo se funciona el volcán. El sistema es viejo, es el hotspot de Yellowstone. Es activo de 16 millones de años. Y durante este tiempo hay muchas calderas que existían. Ese es más viejo, 14, 12, 11, 10 millones de años. Y ahora estamos en Yellowstone. Y esto es la caldera más nueva. The plate, la placa tectónica, se mueve en esta dirección. Hotspot es más o menos donde se mueve. Y las calderas más joven aquí. Esas son las lavas de Columbia River, el río Columbia. Many meters, thousands of meters thick of basaltic lavas that are from the beginning, principio del hotspot. Y están cubiertos esta zona de Washington y Oregon. Ok, este es Yellowstone. El parque, la frontera es azul. Es más o menos 90 kilómetros. 90 kilómetros. Es muy grande. Una zona muy grande. Este lago es muy grande. Tal vez 20 kilómetros. Y es de 2.300 metros en altitud. Esos son los caminos de Yellowstone. Y en todos los diagramas son lo mismo. Okay. Esos son las calderas de Yellowstone. Eso es lo más joven, 640 años, hace 640,000 años. Eso es más viejo, 2000.1. Eso es la caldera de Huckleberry Ridge Tuff, una ignimbrita muy famosa en los Estados Unidos. Y esto es de Lava Creek Tuff. También es un poco famoso. Esos eran muy grandes y charlamos de más de eso. Hay 3 grandes erupciones de Yellowstone y esos muestran dónde se puede encontrar las cenizas de Yellowstone. Este de 640,000, 2.1 million. Es muy larga distancia de Yellowstone. También es que las cenizas vayan en los ríos, Eso es Mississippi River. Se mueva todas las cenizas en el Golfo de México. Y se pueden encontrar 3-4 metros de cenizas de Yellowstone en los drill holes de las compañías de petróleo. Después de 640,000, hay muchos lava flows coladas de riolita que salieron de la caldera de Yellowstone. Todos estos son muy grandes. Eso es 20 kilómetros cuadrados. Cúbicos. 20 kilómetros cúbicos. Solo eso aquí. En todo es más de 600 kilómetros cúbicos. Y Lava Creek Tuff es 1000 kilómetros cúbicos de magma que en erupción. Muy grandes. Cuanto los cilindritas de Argentina. Algunas de las coladas más viejas son en el Grand Canyon de Yellowstone. No el Grand Canyon de Arizona, es el Grand Canyon de Yellowstone. Y esos son coladas completamente alteradas de hydrothermal alteration. ¿Ok? También hay algunas lavas basálticas. Esos basálticos solamente salieron afuera de la caldera porque no se pueden penetrate through the magma. There is magma below the caldera. Any magma that comes up that is basaltic stops under la riolita. But outside, afuera de la caldera, the crust es más frío y puede penetrar completamente a la superficie la lava basáltica. Pero no puede en la caldera. Hay muchas faltas en Yellowstone. Esos son la mayoría. Esos son tectónicas de la zona de los Estados Unidos que se llama Basin and Range. The crust, tension is opening en Nevada y otras partes. Y hay muchas faltas normales. Y también en Yellowstone. Pero también hay faltas de la caldera y de estas zonas donde el magma tiene más presión. The crust, again, the crust, I keep forgetting. La corteza sale. La corteza sale. Esos son resurgent domes. Domos resurgent. Eso es uno de Mallard Lake. Eso es uno de Sour Creek. Y eso es una zona de falta, se llama Elephant Back. Y esos son completamente de presión de magma y aguas termales. Muchos sismos, earthquakes in this zone. They're all over toda la caldera y también en las faldas y también en esta zona vecino acerca de epicentro de un gran terremoto de 1959 a Hebgen Lake, este lago aquí. Y hay muchos sismos entre Hebgen Lake y esta zona del norte de Yellowstone. Algunas fotos de Hebgen Lake Event 7.3. Un grande landslide, murieron 20 personas en un camping spot. Ha pasado de noche. Muchos problemas con los caminos. También tenemos estos lugares donde están explosiones hidrotermales. Esos no son magmáticos y son jóvenes. Todas esas estrellas son de los últimos 10.000 años, 15.000 años. El último lava a Yellowstone, erupción volcánica, fue 70.000 años pasado. Pero hay muchos de esas explosiones hidrotermales en esos días. Eso es un ejemplo. Eso se llama Indian Pond y es 400 metros en diámetro. Es 4.000 años el evento. Y es un libro bastante nuevo que ha discutido esta cosa. Eso es uno pequeño de hace algunos años, tal vez 2013. Es un lugar, se llama Biscuit Basin, es un lugar a Yellowstone. Hay muchos lugares, sitios donde salieron las aguas termales. Algunas veces hay más presión. La agua es boiling. Boiling. It's boiling at the surface. Y continúa a boil a alta presión, a 200 grados, 250 grados, tal vez a 300 grados. Y todo el tiempo está a la temperatura de boiling. Y por esto es una situación muy explosiva, porque hay un sismo o hay un lago donde if a lake water is reduced suddenly, you can have a decrease in pressure, presión disminuye, el agua es abajo de la temperatura de boiling. Es over la temperatura. Okay. So some other things, recent activity. We'll talk about deformation, earthquakes, and hydrothermal. ¿Conocen esos? Esos son INSAR, Interferometric Synthetic Aperture Radar. Es a satellite technique. Compare the ground surface maybe 2 times 1 year apart, and you see the change over that 1 year or 2 year period. In this case, this is maybe, I'm trying to remember, like 2005 to 2007, 2005 a 2007, 2 años. Y esta zona, Sour Creek Dome, the Resurgent Dome, y esta zona, Mallard Lake Dome, they're growing, crecen. Y todo la caldera está moving up. Esta zona aquí, al norte, vecino a un lugar que se llama Norris, está bajando. So, between 2004 y 2010, there were about 14 centímetros de crecer de la actually estaban 24 centímetros al máximo. The biggest part was 24 centimeters. So much increase, and the total volume increase was about 0.4 kilometros cuadrados. Cubic kilometers. So a very huge volume. This is a GPS diagram from here, 2004 to 2010. These are different GPS stations at Yellowstone in blue. This is one at Old Faithful here. This is WLY, which is over here. So 2 different stations. And between 2004 and 2010, they moved up the vertical displacement of 10 centimeters, so about 25 centimeters at this station here. The red line is earthquakes. And you can see there were a lot of earthquakes here in this region. This is monthly earthquakes, so more earthquakes here, lots of earthquakes here. This is called a swarm of earthquakes. Se llama un swarm, when you have many earthquakes in a small period of time. And without one large earthquake, lots of small earthquakes. And so the ground moved up, and then we had a swarm, and the ground stopped moving quickly up. And we had another swarm, even bigger, with 2,500 earthquakes, 2,500 sismos en 2 meses. Y después de esto, the caldera started moving back down. So the earthquakes released pressure on the system, and the earth stopped rising. These are the 2 earthquake swarms. One in 2008 and one in 2010. 2008 and 2010. I show you a little bit of information. Here are the seismic data plots for one day, December 27th, 2008. Between Christmas, Navidad, y Año Nuevo. Not a good time for monitoring. Everyone is in vacation, fiesta, but many earthquakes at Yellowstone. I live in California, and my parents, they live in Virginia on the East Coast. I traveled from California to Virginia on the 26th. And the 26th of December is almost like the 27th. Each one of these is an earthquake, un sismo. Muchos. Esto es 354.0. 2 lugares diferentes. So this is the seismic sheet. Each line is 15 minutes of information. Yes? Well, it's a good question. ¿Qué tipo de sismo? For the most part, these are normal faults. So they are typical of the tectonic environment. But swarms like this don't happen so often in normal tectonic environments. So it's very common when you have pressurized water that it makes them happen more quickly, more noticeably. So it is thought that so you can see here, this is time, 27 de diciembre. This is the 8 enero. And you can see the blue to red, blue and more yellows to the north. And here a cross section from x to x prime, moving to the north, más jóvenes, más antiguos, and you can see that they get fewer deep earthquakes at the north. So we think that there was a deep, larger earthquake. It had an earthquake focal mechanism, partial explosion. And we think maybe fluidas magmáticas enter hydrothermal system, and the hydrothermal system goes crazy. But no magma occurred, no explosions occurred. It was all underneath the lake, El Lago de Yellowstone. And but I know now that when things happen underneath lakes, it worries people. Se preocupan cuando hay agua. No, I don't understand, but everybody goes crazy when there's stuff under a lake. So el público loca. Yes. So that's that one. In the about a year and a half later, there was an even larger earthquake swarm with 2,500 earthquakes, 2,500 out here, not underwater, bigger, but people were not as interested because it wasn't underneath water. So, okay, it still works. So this is earthquake relocations of all of the earthquakes from that swarm, all on a big crack, you see? Una grieta. And there, this is how the earthquakes take place. When they finished, cuando terminado, azul. Antes, rojos. I don't know if I can... Yeah. Yeah, okay. See? A great crack, fault, where there's all sorts of pressurized water. There's other earthquakes with the red earthquakes that are later in the sequence that are outside that zone. It starts in one central location, and then it spreads out. This is my friend, my colleague David Shelley, who did the work on this earthquake swarm. Muy interesante. Okay. There's been other activity interesting at the Norris Geyser Basin. This is a view from a balloon we had, where we took photos from the balloon. And this right here is a explosión hidrotermal de 1989. Se llama pork chop. Es una comida. Desierto. Okay. So after those two big swarms, the ground started to go down in the caldera. But to the north, the ground started to move up. And in the north, there were also earthquakes during this time period between September 2013 In May 2014, there were 1,000 earthquakes in this zone, all along faults, unmapped faults, but cracks, all lineaments. Each color is a different time. Red is later, blue is earlier. So many earthquakes in this general zone. When this area is going up, and después de toda la actividad de la caldera del años antes. Okay. So here's another view. Earthquakes per month. In this area at the north. There were a lot of earthquakes in 2001, 2003. There were swarms, and then very little. Very little. And then, all of a sudden, in 2013 to 2013, lots and lots of earthquakes. And the red line is cumulative, so it goes way up. So you can see that when this area rises, there are more earthquakes. So here is the GPS. This is in the caldera. This one is in the caldera. This was in the caldera. This was in the caldera. They went up, 2010, big earthquake swarms, and they went down. This is at the north of Yellowstone. It had been going down when these were going up. It stayed steady. In 2013, it went up very quickly, about 7 centimeters in 6 months. Scary. And then we had an earthquake, 4.8. After the earthquake, we saw nothing, no co-seismic movement. But in the next 3 meses, the ground surface went down almost the entire amount it had just gone up. And eventually, the earthquake stopped. So something was pushing up, pressurizing this zone at the north of Yellowstone. There was a big earthquake, and there was a seal, some sort of seal that depressurized the system. No lo entendemos completamente. Okay, a few other things more about aguas termales. We also have a link between CO2 and earthquakes. We can see that by studying tree rings. In this case, we went to a part of Yellowstone that had a big earthquake swarm in 1978. And we looked back at trees that grew near that location. And the ppm magmatic is the amount of dead carbon, carbón muerto, that does not have carbon 14, carbon 14. So, in 1978, the amount of dead carbon increased in the tree rings right after the earthquake and stayed high for another 6 or 7 years before it went back down above the previous background level, el fondo original, el fondo después. So this indicates that in this 1 year, the rate of emisiones de CO2, 4 times more CO2 came out of that area after these earthquakes. It's possible that the gas causes the earthquakes. It's possible that the earthquakes allow gas to escape. And we have good reasons to believe both. Okay, I have only a few more slides. One, carbon dioxide is amazing at Yellowstone. The emissions from Yellowstone are estimated at 45,000 tons cada día by Cindy Werner and her advisor. So we use this system for diffuse flux, to measure the amount of CO2 coming through the soils. The carbon isotopes show that the carbon is mantle-derived, at least half of it. And the amount of degassing of basalt is on the order of 0.3 kilometros cuadrados, cúbico. Okay, and the last thing I was just going to say is that one of the interesting things about the thermal fluids at Yellowstone is there's two types that you see when you go to Yellowstone. And the first type is the one that is most famous. It is beautiful, clear, muy claro. Es con mucho silico dissolved in it. Maybe 600 parts per million silico. And chlorine, cloro, and 400. It's neutral, pH 7, 8. And it is saturated with silica so that you create geysers with opaline silica, ópalo A, in muchos lugares a Yellowstone. And it's from these neutral waters. But we also have these other waters that are not conocidas. People do not appreciate them, but they are much more common. And these are waters that are acid, pH 2, 1, 3. There's no silica, no geysers, no opal, just clay from alteration from acid of rhyolite, kaolinite. And so most of the acid is created by H2S. So H2S reacts. There are bacteria in thermophile life forms that eat and use the H2S, convert it to SO2, and that is dissolved in the water to create ácido sulfure. So, this is very common at Yellowstone, and the basic system is that there's deep magma, and there's heat, and volatiles that come up into meteoric water. Hydrothermal system is mostly agua meteórico. And there's boiling, and the boiling sends up steam and gas to the altas zonas de Yellowstone. And these areas are acid. And at the elevations más bajas, cerca de los ríos, you have the geyser basins with the neutral water and all of the beautiful things that people think when they think about Yellowstone. So, I have many, many hours more of Yellowstone materials, but this is all I put together for today, just a simple introduction that I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Gobierno del Perú, trabajando para todos los peruanos.